during the Depression, there wasn't a lot of big, hopeful positives for the country to look at and feel good about, but this project was actually one of them. This was something for the entire country to take pride in and rally around. And without this guy, we may not have built it. So let's say we be a little less petty. Let's go ahead and acknowledge it and name the place for him. But it took 11 years. So it wasn't until 1947, when Harry Truman was president, when they finally named it the Hoover Dam for President Harry Truman. Now, Carlos has just brought us on the old US 11. For many decades, this was the only route to get to and from the Hoover Dam. And of course, millions of people visit the Hoover Dam every year. And especially the early decades, most of the traffic of that million-plus people coming to see the Hoover Dam would be all in just a few short months during the summer. And the traffic on this little narrow stretch, two-lane stretch of highway would get bottlenecked, it'd get backed up. And the people in the cars, they'd get impatient. They'd say, well, to heck with it. Let me take my chances. Let me see if I can drive around all these other backed up cars to get to the Hoover Dam sooner. That ended up being a really bad idea, because they would miscalculate. They'd slide off the shoulder of the road over here on your right, and they'd end up in these ravines down here because they didn't have fences or guardrails. If you thought that one was bad, take a look at this ravine right here. Pretty crazy. There'd be dozens of cars down there. You'd think the last guy that saw that happen would be like, man, what an idiot. Who the heck would do that? But a lot of times the next guy would be like, man, what an idiot. But he just didn't know how to do it right. Watch this. He'd do the same thing, same result. So they knew eventually they'd need a bypass bridge, and you're looking at it right here over on the right. That is the top of the O'Callahan-Tillman bypass bridge. They knew eventually they would need something like that to alleviate the traffic, eliminate the bottlenecks of the traffic, and then for another reason as well, because having a bypass bridge provides an eagle's eye view of the Hoover Dam for security purposes. This is something a lot of times people don't actually know this, but during World War II, there was a group of 5 Nazi spies that were arrested inside the United States on their way to the Hoover Dam as part of a plot to blow it up. Now, obviously, the plot got uncovered, and these guys were arrested before they could get close enough to do any damage. But after that incident, they shut down all public access to the Hoover Dam until after World War II was done and won. Even with those things I just told you a moment ago, though, it took many decades for the money and motivation to be in place to actually build a bypass bridge. And unfortunately, what brought the money and motivation into the picture were the terrorist attacks in New York and D.C. in 2001 on September 11th. That renewed the concern within the government. All of a sudden, they're like, wait a minute, oh yeah, this dam could be a target for something. And so they start looking at all of the most reputable, high-caliber construction companies across the globe. They give one of them a contract to begin the construction at the end of 2001, and they finished building this bypass bridge in 2010, opened it to the public in 2012. It was the first ever combination steel and concrete arch bridge in the country. To this day, it's still the tallest bridge of that kind in the U.S. And the official name is the O'Callahan-Tillman Bypass Bridge, named for 2 different veterans of 2 different U.S. wars. On the Nevada side of the bridge is named for Mike O'Callahan. He was a veteran of the Korean War. He earned a Purple Heart in that conflict, came back to Nevada, became a very much beloved 2-term governor. And on the Arizona side of the bridge, named for Pat Tillman, who was a famous American professional football star for the Arizona Cardinals. After 9/11, he gives up a highly successful, very lucrative pro sports career to enlist in the Army. He wanted to do his patriotic duty, and unfortunately, he got killed in Afghanistan due to friendly fire. The Arizona side of the bridge named for him, so it's the O'Callahan-Tillman Bypass Bridge. Now we've got a couple of security checkpoints we have to stop at before we get to the bottom of the bridge, and this is the first of them.